Hi, my friends. Oh my God, it's November 1st. October is over. Okay, welcome to the November Energy Report. Truth be told, I have been chomping at the bit to share these energies since, I don't know, like October 11th, okay? I started to feel them come in pretty early. Maybe it was more like the third week of October. And I really, sorry, I'm getting over a cold. I really wanted to post about it so much. I wanted to talk about it so much, but I knew that we needed to be in that shitty, uncomfortable energy of October, that weird, confusing sort of miniature dark night of the soul. If you didn't necessarily experience it that dramatically, it was like just a month of confusion and just like, is this what I really want? Is this what I'm supposed to do? Am I supposed to blah, 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 blah? Like not being able to settle on anything. Those energies were really, really, really important because they were kind of like causing us to essentially let go, or preparing us to let go of a lot of layers of our identity that are so outdated at this point. But that's old news. That's the energy of October. And we're in November. It's November 1st. So it's a whole new energy right now. Okay. This energy that is coming in November and December, they are two sides of the same coin, quite literally. You'll see what I mean when we get into the December energy report. But these energies are really, really, I'll say monumental. Like something monumental is happening right now, and it is going to continue through the first quarter at least of 2024, but it's going to come in different phases. So the thing that's coming in specifically in November is a level of unsurpassed clarity. The card for November is the King of Swords. So if you're new to my energy reports, I always do a tarot card reading for the entire year at the very beginning of the year. And I pull a card for each month. Plus I pull some like extra ones just for, fun and extra context and whatever. But the card for November is the King of Swords. And the message that I'm getting now that we're here is an unsurpassed level of clarity. So the circumstances that have been confusing in October, maybe even September, haven't necessarily changed. The hard things that we're going through don't magically resolve today because today is a new calendar day. But what does change is that we leave behind that muddled, murky, confused energy of October, where we knew something didn't feel right or didn't feel good, but we didn't know what direction to go. We're leaving that and we are entering into an energy of clarity where you know where you need to go. And this isn't like, this isn't baby clarity like, oh, I figured out my pros and cons list and now I feel better and I know what college to apply to. No, this is some big deal shit, okay? This is preparing us for what is essentially coming at the beginning of 2024 by allowing us to fully see the truth of the situation that we're in on a personal level, and as well as on a collective level, as well as like on a planetary level, as well as on a multidimensional level. The King of Swords is this masculine energy of like, it's basically the energy of no. It's like no, it's our sacred no. Okay, I'm going to use the analogy of the movie Tangled. If you haven't seen it, I mean, like, it's a pretty cute Disney movie, I'm just saying. And I know Disney is Disney, I know, but I have little kids, all right? And I watched it even before I knew that Disney was Disney. But there's this, it's a great movie to watch because it's full on disclosure, like full on blatant, glaring disclosure. It's not veiled at all. It's thinly veiled in a cutesy story. But essentially, there's a moment towards the end of the movie where Rapunzel realizes, where all of the memory fragments come back together. They do a really good job at showing the montage where she starts to figure it all out and piece it together, that she is the lost princess that was stolen from her parents' care when she was just an infant by basically like a fucked up, selfish old hag that just wanted to use her for her constant rejuvenative powers so that she could have eternal youth and eternal life. And so Rapunzel has this moment where she realizes, like, oh my God, I'm the lost princess. You're not my mother. This whole time, this whole life I've been living has been a fucking lie. And that moment of clarity is so powerful because from that clarity, you can move forward and you know how to move forward. But it doesn't necessarily, it's not like the happy ending energy, you know? It's not like, oh, now things are rainbows and unicorns. No, it's an energy of seeing things truly for what they are, for actually what they are. And feeling that sacred, like absolute fuck no inside of yourself. So the way that this can play out is on personal levels. Let's say it could play out where I think in the October energy report, I gave the example, or maybe I know I did like a couple mid-month energy reports because I felt like we needed some extra love. But there could be the example of being in a relationship and you're not happy, but you've been in it for a while, and it's not even necessarily it's not as clear cut that the other person is the bad guy or whatever. It's just being in this relationship and you're like, am I supposed to stay in this relationship? Like, are we just going through a hard phase, or am I being like a diva or a spoiled brat, or is this my shit coming up and it has nothing to do with that person? Or like, should I just stick it out and believe in us? Like, is this a time to hunker down and like connect to the commitment that I made or that we made or whatever? Or am I supposed to call a spade a spade? Am I supposed to walk? So October was that kind of energy of like, I can't tell. I can't actually see it. I'm so uncomfortable, but I don't know what the problem actually is. And November is like, oh, I know what the problem is. And I now know what to do. So to me, it feels like such a welcome relief to be in this point of clarity. So obviously on an individual level, it's going to play out in so many different ways. Could be in the realm of relationships, could be in the realm of job and career, could be like where you're living. It could be something with your health. It could be an internal personal realization of something that you've been doing or an attitude that you've been fostering based on a belief that you have, or something that has been kind of sabotaging you. Just something that you see like it was in your blind spot and it's in your blind spot no more. You can see it. And it's an amazing feeling. And I mean, this isn't really an action-taking card per se. The King of Swords, the whole suit of the swords is the realm of like cognition. So this is a mental clarity. But to me, it feels like there is a necessary and obvious action that goes with this level of clarity. Like when you receive this much clarity, there's no way that you can't then start shuffling your reality around to match this new level of clarity. And again, I feel like this is like when I was writing out, I'm going to post a post later today, an actual Instagram post about the energies of November. But when I was creating this post, it was weeks ago, and I literally used the words monumental and unsurpassed clarity. I can't overemphasize this, how big of a fucking deal it is. And if you think about it, this is happening for so many of us at the same time, where just the penny is dropping. Now, of course, depending on how you came to follow me or be interested in me, Some of you have just simply come from the spiritual side and you're just really into spiritual things and wanting to learn more about spiritual awakening and psychic activation and the Akashic records and all that kind of stuff. Others among you have come to me through the conspiracy side, because I've had the honor of being on several like conspiritual podcasts. So for those of you who are coming from this conspiracy end, you will be happy to know that this is referring to basically a lot of people waking up. And I know we've said this before, but this is like, you know how people are kind of teetering on the edge of awake? Like they're kind of seeing things for what they are. They kind of think some of the things that we've been witnessing lately are bullshit, but they haven't really wanted to commit to that. They still kind of want to maintain, like they still want to be in the matrix. They still want to eat the steak. They still want to, they don't want to burden themselves with basically like the way it totally rearranges your reality when you do have that moment of awakening, like true recognition, undeniable. But I'm seeing that for a lot of people. So people that have been semi-awake, just like sort of toe dipping their awakeness for a while, this month is just going to, it's all going to consolidate. And I don't even necessarily believe that it has to happen through an event. Like there doesn't have to be an event that triggers it, because I mean, how many events are we seeing already? There have been so many events just in the last 6 months alone. It's crazy. So many events. So it's not really so much that some event is going to happen or some monumental piece of disclosure like we were kind of all really waiting for in 2020 and 2021. Maybe, but what I think is that I feel like so much disclosure has already happened. And we're always like, okay, here's another pet peeve that I have. We're kind of like, if you're in the conspiracy world, a lot of the conversation around disclosure has been focused on the government. I think that was a byproduct of the QAnon stuff, which again, I'm no expert on because I was super late to the game. Didn't even know what Q was until late 2020. But I think it's a byproduct of the QAnon stuff, but there's this like obsession with disclosure having to be with the government and the pedophile rings, when in fact, so much fuckery has been disclosed over the last, obviously since 2020, but even it really ramped up in 2020, but there was a lot of disclosure happening in the few years prior to that. Like, people leaving cults and like blowing the lid on cults and leaving major religions and just like, you know, like being very vocal about experiences that they've had that are inappropriate in systems of power that present themselves as being like benign or religious or spiritual or in service to the people or whatever, right? So much disclosure has already happened. I don't really feel like more disclosure has to happen. What has to happen is the people have to receive it and put all the puzzle pieces together so that they're like, what? How did I not see this before? And that is the energy of November. That is the energy of November. And the beautiful thing about it is that this collective fuck no is just, it's going to feel so powerful. Just like a human collective declaration of like, we are not doing this anymore. Like we are literally not tolerating manufactured fucking war. Like we're not doing this. This is not acceptable. It is not acceptable that certain areas of the world just get pulled into a war for the purposes of a greater dark agenda. And that there are civilian casualties. And that then we are all manipulated through news media and social media and entertainment media to feel like we need to pick sides over wars that we don't even understand or political topics that we do not understand. Like it's craziness. It's madness. It's a maddening fucking loosh harvest that makes no sense to perpetuate. But the amazing thing about November is that we just, so many people just all of a sudden reach this point where we're like, no, not fucking doing it, not standing for it. Yeah. But it's also going to play out in our personal lives. Like whatever you have been sort of tolerating or tiptoeing around or hesitating or like, I don't know. I think this is kind of a push out of the nest, maybe would be a good way of putting it. Like, so for example, I just know that there are a lot of people, because I hear from them, who have been thinking about leaving their jobs, but they're afraid to lose that security, but they have something else that they want to do, and they've been hesitating, or fearing losing, or thinking about leaving a relationship that just isn't moving forward. Like it's not the vibe anymore. It's not the thing, but they've been hesitating and making up these like, human excuses of like, oh, I need the security, and like I got things to pay for my kids, and like I can't blah 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 blah, or I don't want to hurt the other person, like there's not enough going wrong, like who do I think I am, what if I don't meet anybody else, like just our nonsense excuses. I feel like November is what, I don't know like why or by what mechanism, to me it always just feels like a 100th monkey thing. Like there's just enough clarity that enough people experience that it triggers like a domino effect that impacts others, where we just hit this point where we're like, no, this is it. The line is drawn. Just making the change, doing it now. I'm done with this waffling bullshit, which is probably why we had to go through the energy of October, honestly, was to amplify the discomfort of that waffling bullshit that we do to motivate us to shit or get off the pot. And that's what we're doing in November. It's just going to be so good. Also, I feel like this is the divine masculine. Okay, this is the reclamation of the divine masculine mind, the divine masculine reclamation of the mind, the mental field. So I think, so I did a podcast episode a while ago in October with Elise Bassine and Andrea Donnelly. And Andrea said something that I feel like was so on point. She said that she feels like this energy that I'm describing is like waking up and realizing that you've been in a cult. And I really feel like that's it. Is that same level of just shockedness and anger and like, fuck no. And like just all the things that it brings up is that level of clarity in multiple areas of our lives. So as you're listening, I don't know, maybe you're like, ooh, this sounds jarring and uncomfortable, and I don't want to feel this. Why are you in such a good mood about it, Amy? But it's because I know what's coming in January. So I'm like, bring it the fuck on. Bring it on. This is what we need in order to truly let go of the stuff that is not a vibrational match to us anymore. We've been hearing it. It feels tiring to even use those words because we've heard it so much. It just sounds like blah, 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 spiritual bullshit. But really, there are things that we are holding on to that are not a vibrational match. Why? For ridiculous human justification reasons. It's time to let it go. The preview for January is so much light is coming in. It's going to feel like our circuits are being fried. I've been seeing this for a couple years, and here it comes. So much light. It's just going to be very intense. A lot of remembering who we are, a lot of what might even be experienced as like walk-in kind of levels of just stuff, like ourselves coming back. In order to even have the space to hold that and receive it, we need this clarity that's coming through in November and December that allows us to just like almost mercilessly let go, like cut out the things in our lives that don't resonate with that. And when I say mercilessly, I mean like not merciless to other people. I mean to our own excuses, like just not kowtowing to the bullshit of our excuses anymore, because the clarity is going to really override them. Oh, there's one more thing that I wanted to say. about this. And of course, I'm like, literally, I have a reading starting in 3 minutes. So always living on the razor's edge here. Damn it. What was the other thing I wanted to say about November? Of course, I can't remember now, which obviously means that I'm going to have to come back live and talk about it later when I do remember. This is the shitty part about going live. You can't just press pause and wait until you remember and wait until you have time. Regardless, this is going to be really, really, really powerful month for clarity. And so many of you have just been praying for clarity anyway. So like, accept it, welcome it in. Clarity means like, not being able to not change anymore. That's what it means. That's what it means. And it's a good thing. Okay. I have to go because I have this reading. I don't know how this message lands for all of you. I don't know if you feel as excited as I do, but the way that it feels to me, it feels like, yes. And I'm so excited to be able to talk about it. So I hope that it is inspiring and exciting for you too. And it's really going to keep on going through December. So just be brave, just accept the clarity and let yourself make the changes that you need to make in response to this newfound clarity. Okay. I love you guys all so much. And I'm sure I'll be back when I remember the thing that I forgot to say. Okay. Bye.